Hey everyone, welcome back to FRC Forecast. I'm your host Angel, bringing you the latest for REEFSCAPE, believe it or not, Week 6. Before we take a dive into those predictions, let's take a look at last week's featured events. Congratulations to Emma, who had the most accurate prediction. And remember, you can join in on the fun with the Fun FRC Pick'em League. Submissions due by Wednesday. More information on our Discord or on our website. For now, let's splish splash and head into the forecast.
This video on fun is brought to you by our viewers, supporters, members, and also in partnership with the following. Build your alliance with so many other FRC alumni who go to Kettering University. Every student at Kettering experiences their cutting-edge co-op programs that seamlessly blend the professional and academic worlds. Kettering co-ops are a fully immersive working experience at the leading edge of industry. Head on over to kettering.edu/FRC to learn more about their incredible programs and to get more information. Earn up to a $5,000 sponsorship for your team or a $2,000 individual prize when you provide a video submission to the Altair Global Student Contest at altair.com/contest. You can build better robots faster with Altair tools and provide multiple video submissions for the contest. Download Altair tools for free. Scan the QR code or go to altair.com/contest for further details.
Our first group of forecasts takes us to the U.S. Northeast, where we have Jeff, who will be covering the FMA District Championship, as well as Connor, who will be covering the New England Baller Division, and Steve, who will be covering the New England SOSIC Division.
What's going on, everybody? Here comes the forecast for the 2025 First Mid-Atlantic District Championship event held at Lehigh University in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. First up, let's talk about our lock team. That's going to be Team 2539, the Krypton Cougars out of Palmyra, Pennsylvania. The Krypton Cougars are sporting a 32-2 record currently. They've won both of their district events, ranking first and captaining the First Alliance to a blue banner. The Krypton Cougars are known for continuous improvement and are a lock to be in the mix deep into the playoff bracket come Saturday afternoon. Can't wait to see what the Krypton Cougars come up with. Next, for our contenders, we're going to have our first contender being Team 341 Miss Daisy out of Ambler, Pennsylvania. Daisy is a highly dynamic robot, and realistically, they're the only viable ground intake in the First Mid-Atlantic region as of current. Daisy was the first pick of Alliance 1, captained by our lock, the Krypton Cougars, at both of their district events, so they also have 2 district wins. 341 can capitalize on floor coral to amplify their efficiency well over most human player robots. I would look for Daisy to contend for a high-level captainship of their own in Alliance selection. Our next contender will be Team 3314, the Mechanical Mustangs, representing Clifton, New Jersey. The Mechanical Mustangs had a bit of a rough start in their first 2 events, but came back better than ever in their third event, taking home a win. It's worth noting that 3314 has more experience than most FMA teams at playing REEFSCAPE, thanks to their early season out of district competition during Week 1. They will be the only team coming into Lehigh with 3 events on their resume. 3314 is sporting a strong coral and algae game, as well as a very consistent multi-piece autonomous routine. Our final contender is going to be Team 5895 Petty Robotics out of Hightstown, New Jersey. Petty has also won both of their district events from the first seed as the captain, same as Krypton. They have been honing their skills in REEFSCAPE and will be contending for a high seed position in the tournament. Finally, let's talk about our dark horse for this event. That's going to be Team 9015 Questionable Engineering out of Jersey City, New Jersey. Questionable Engineering took home a winner's banner from Mount Olive in Week 2 and took their alliance to match 10 in a very competitive Centennial District tournament last weekend. They've been focusing on pure, highly efficient coral cycling and could be an absolute asset for the right alliance. They've proven they can handle the rigors of rapid-fire elims matches and are looking to carve out their spot in the FMA landscape. Best of luck to all the teams gearing up to compete this weekend at the FMA District Championship at Lehigh University.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, step right up. It's time for the New England District Championship at the Big E. After 5 weeks, 11 events, and a whole lot of robot action, we have reached the pinnacle of New England competition. 96 teams across 2 divisions, Ballard and SOSIC, will duke it out to become this year's New England District Champions. Let's start off with the Ballard division. Oh my god, what a stacked division. With 6 of the top 7 in EPA on this field, it is sure going to be a slugfest for the ages. Before I get into my lock, I want to note that this was incredibly hard to pick teams, as so many of them are so worthy of being not only a lock, contender, and even a dark horse. Now, with that said, here we go. My lock for the Ballard division is coming into this event with a record of 33-2, 146 district points, and 2 event wins under their belt. It's none other than last year's Grand Finals finalist, Team 6329, the Bucks Wrath from Bucksport, Maine. While we haven't seen them compete since Pine Tree Week 3, you best believe that this team has been putting in the work, getting dozens of hours of dry practice. 6329 knows a lot about going deep into playoffs, and they have friends on the field to potentially do it with, like their Southern Maine partners, 190, and a team that they've won numerous events with over the years, 5687. What this team lacks in ground intaking algae easily makes up for fast-scoring coral cycles with a mechanism that can easily score on each level of the reef, allowing them to be able to pick up teams for playoffs that are more reserved to level 2 through 4, so they can focus on making sure reef protection doesn't slow down. My first contender has 3 events under their belt, with a record of 44-8, 145 district points, and 4 event wins if you count the official Week 0. It's none other than 190, Gompy and the Herd from Worcester, Massachusetts. One of the fastest elevators in the game is ready to tackle this division with their 4-piece auto. Just recently, they removed their algae stick and traded in for a full-fledged algae grabber to score in the processor and the barge, and it showed to be deadly just a couple weeks ago at the WPI event. While they don't have their friends and 2-time event winners 1768 on this division, they do have their Southern Maine partners, as we mentioned earlier, 6329, if they decide to run it back. Will this original and sustaining team be able to take the crown? Only time will tell. My next contender has a record of 28-8, 135 district points, an event win, and an event finalist. Toyotathon is so on. It's Team 3467, the Wyndham Windup from Wyndham, New Hampshire. It's been really cool to watch this robot evolve over the course of the season, and every single change they've made only seems to make them even more competitive. Although their deep climb isn't the most consistent, what they make up for in coral and barge is well worth it. In fact, Wyndham has the best teleop score on this division per Robotics, which is why they land here on my list. If that isn't enough, take a look into how they prepare for each match. I've been fortunate enough to be able to play with them in playoffs in years past, and seriously guys, they are no joke. They have all this strategic stuff down to a science. My third contender has a record of 26-10, 137 district points, an event win, and an event finalist, both of them with the previous team, 3467. This team is 63-28, Mechanical Advantage from Littleton, Massachusetts. This mostly autonomous robot is here to sweep the competition with its collision avoidance system and fast-acting mechanisms. This team knows a lot about deep runs in the playoffs. They have been to Einstein not once, not twice, but 3 times, all in the last 3 years, and experience matters a lot when it comes down to high levels of play. This robot has seen quite a bit of change over the season, but one thing is for certain, practice pays off, as you can catch them regularly practicing with their friends in 3467 at the Toyotathon practice facility. Having the best auto score per Robotics is going to make this team a top contender and has an incredibly good chance to seed high and make it to the finals. And now, my dark horse. This was incredibly difficult to pick, and while they might not become a captain or a first-round pick, if paired right with the right alliance, this team could gel into triple offense and wreak havoc on the Ballard field. This team has a record of 28-19, 94 district points, and won the Impact Award at WPI. It's last year's Hopper Subdivision winners, Team 2370 iBots from Rutland, Vermont. This sideways elevator windmill mechanism, they are taking your algae and putting it into their net. And they are going to do it so much faster than anyone else here. While they might not have a wide acquisition for intake and coral, they have their pathing down to a T, wasting no time filling the reef and taking names. This team is perfect for your alliance for triple offense, and especially in auto. They have a 3-piece auto, which would pair incredibly well with a captain or first pick that can score a center coral and an algae in the barge. Heck, maybe even 2. And to be completely honest, I wouldn't be surprised if 2370 has an auto like that in their back pocket as well. Well, that's what I have for picks here. With how competitive this division is, send a prayer to the qual schedule gods, as that could easily be the difference between seeding first or seeding 10th. If you're at the district championships, I'd love to hear your picks. I'll be there with my team as well. Can't wait to chat with you all. See you soon, sports fans.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to New England Championship Weekend from Springfield, Massachusetts in the Big E Coliseum. Tonight, I'm going to be breaking down the SOSIC division for you all, so let's jump right into things. 48 teams have fought their way through a gauntlet of 5 weeks of intense New England competition, but only 3 robots will move on to face off against the Ballard Division winners and be crowned the 2025 New England District Champions. Now, before I jump into my picks, I just want to take a quick minute to address the overall strength of this field. Ballard Division has a higher average EPA, and at first glance, a much more intimidating top 8 teams on their field. But I want to note that SOSIC has a lower standard deviation on EPA. All the robots on SOSIC field are closer together in skill than the powerhouse stacked Ballard field, and I think this is going to make a big difference in playoffs, where we're going to see a lot more balanced alliances in playoffs, and I think it's going to be the more interesting playoff field to watch. But hey, I'm just a lonely stats nerd, and I've been looking at Statbotics for way too long this afternoon. Leading off my picks with my locked-in team, it's going to be those crazy cats from Neshoba, Team 1768. Fresh off back-to-back event wins at URI and WPI, and with the highest teleop EP of any bot in the division, this quick cycling bot is going to be looking to crush any competition that comes its way. And while their partners in crime this season, 190, are on the other division, there's going to be plenty of other heavy hitters for them to pick from when it comes time for alliance selection. Now let's meet some of those contenders who might be looking to partner with or beat Neshoba. First off, it's going to be 7407 Wired Boars. Well, having a higher overall EPA than Neshoba, their EPA is heavily weighted to autonomous EPA, and while that's going to serve them extremely well in qualifications, in fact, I predict that they are probably going to finish higher than Neshoba at the end of qualifications. Their less powerful teleop EPA has me questioning whether they have the offensive firepower to stick it out down the stretch in playoffs. Its DCMP and the level of play across all robots on the field is higher, and we're going to be looking at a lot of playoff matches that could turn out to be all-out offensive slugfests, so having that power down the line is going to really count. One team that has already shown that they have the offensive firepower to go the distance is Team 88 TJ Squared. Those tie-dyed freaks have been tearing up every single field they played on this season. Their offense is so good that their playoff alliances this season have an average match score of over 170, including 3 200-point playoff matches. Not only that, but after losing in the finals at both URI and WPI, these guys have got to be super hungry to finally raise that first blue banner of the 2025 campaign. My final contender for SOSIC division is going to be Team 195, the Cyber Knights, out of Connecticut. Again, another really strong offensive bot who has been virtually undefeated in playoffs this season. It's clear that the teams that cycle the most coral in a match are the ones who are going to make it through qualifications on top. So all of them should be looking very closely at the middle of the field and those algae and level 1 bots that are going to make the difference come alliance selection time. Now finally, if I have to pick a dark horse for this event, and that's no easy task on a field this littered with robot talent, if I have to look really deep into my crystal ball and pick that one team out of the middle of the pack poised to spring into action and fight their way to the top, it's going to be Team 6324, the Blue Devils. As a second pick, they managed to fight their way to the finals at Greater Boston and to the semifinals at UNH. Be on the lookout for these Devils as either captain or first pick of an extremely well-balanced 7th or 8th seed alliance. That's going to do it for me and my predictions for the SOSIC field. Now, if you think I'm right, or you just think I'm a stark raving lunatic, come tell me in person, because I'm going to be there on SOSIC field with my own team this weekend. Good luck to everybody competing this weekend, and I'll see you in Springfield.
finally that time of year, and it's DCMP week down here in First, North Carolina. And this event is looking to be one of the most competitive North Carolina events in years. There have been many teams in this district that have been really stepping up their performance, leading DCMP to be a really competitive event. For North Carolina District First, we have one team ranked 21 in the world based on EPA, and at this event there are 14 world slots, but there are 2 pre-qualified teams from last year, potentially allowing for more district point slots coming to FNC. Stepping into my picks for this event, we have none other than Team 9496 as my lock. Link is currently ranked 21 in the world off EPA and have been undefeated this entire competition season. They have dominated at every event they have attended, and they have had 2 weeks to get better since their last event. And their robot is just simple and fast. Their elevator is one of the fastest I've ever seen, and it is terrifyingly fast. This is a team that has also had an incredible run last year, which was their rookie year, and they are quickly looking to become an NC powerhouse team. We'll see if they can maintain their win streak at this highly competitive event. My first contender for this event is Team 587 the Hedgehogs. As one of the oldest teams in the state, they have also become one of the most competitive in recent years. They won their first event and finished finalists at their second, showing that they have some serious firepower. Their robot uses the same archetype as many, with only a ramp intake. They then have a wrist which does enable them to score a bit faster than without the wrist. They do not have a deep climb, but if they show up to DCMP with one, that will significantly increase their performance. I think that 587 will definitely end up as an Alliance captain, and they are a strong contender for one of those top 3 to 4 seeds. My next contender is Team 4795 Eastbox. This is another team that has emerged as an NC powerhouse in the past few years, and they already have 1 win under their belt at the Week 2 Catawba County event. This is another robot that goes only from the human player station, but they are unique in that their entire end actuator is on a pivot. This can enable incredibly quick scoring. With this robot and the 2 weeks they have had to improve, tune, and change things, I think that they will be a strong contender for a top seed and will definitely end up as the Lions captain. And my final contender for this event is Team 1533 Triple Strange. This is a team that, while they do not have the super high EPA, I think has a chance of stealing the show at DCMP. They have by far one of the most unique robots in the state that works very well. They have also had 3 weeks to change and upgrade their robot since their last event, so they have definitely become a bit of a wild card and have a good possibility of changing up these event predictions. While they base their robot off an entire single pivot, that does make it more complicated, but it means they don't need to switch between mechanisms, which could be a significant advantage. I think 1533 is definitely a robot that can have a big influence at DCMP and could really have an unexpected streak. And finally, my dark horse for this event is Team 9032 RoboWheels. This is a second-year team that has a robot very similar to 1690s. I think that they could do super well with some additional tuning. This is an archetype that they have takes a lot of programming, but it also has a super high ceiling. They're one of the only robots in NC that has an effective ground intake too, which could make a massive difference at high levels of play. I think that they are a team that could be a fantastic deep field pick, or they could really end up throwing a wrench into the expected rankings. But wherever they end up, they will be a fantastic alliance partner that could really make the difference at this event.
After 2 events with all 35 teams, the First South Carolina's inaugural season is coming to a close at Anderson with our district championships. We have narrowed down the field to 28 teams, and 5 will advance to Worlds. 2 slots for winners, 1 for Impact, 1 for EI, and then 1 more for points. So far in South Carolina, Coral has been the name of the game, and I don't expect that to change much here. But I have been wrong before. Some of the teams have been working on their algae scoring game, so if at all, I suspect it will only be a difference during playoffs. A lot of people like to use OPR or EPA as a metric, but I prefer cold, hard scouting data. So I'll be referencing my own team's scouting data a few times during this forecast. My lot to win has to once again be 4451 Robots Garage. They have won both events, even when the odds were against them. They are smooth and consistent, They're a team you always look forward to having on your alliance, for many reasons besides just their robot performance. Their professionalism and demeanor under pressure is unparalleled in the state. Not to mention their consistent two-piece auto and most coral scored out of anyone at the North Charleston event. And apparently they have a climber now? I expect that they'll come home with their third banner of the season at District Champs. For my contenders, I'll start with 343, Metal in Motion. While they were still ranked first at Charleston, their performance wasn't quite as clean as it was at Hartsville when they took home the win. But after talking with some of their team, they cleaned up a lot of the things that were causing some inconsistencies. Even with those issues, they were obviously really good to begin with. Additionally, they have increased their algae ability and can score in the barge now. They're an absolute ranking point monster, so I suspect they'll be ranked first again. And if that's the case, and they pair up with 4451, that alliance is going to be really hard to stop. The second contender is going to be 1287, Aluminum Assault. This team has really stepped it up in the past 2 years. They're the first pick of Alliance 2 at Hartsville and Alliance 1 at North Charleston. Our team's data has them with the most L4 corals scored on Friday at North Charleston and a solid two-piece auto. Nothing too fancy here, just a simple, consistent robot that performs really well. Pair that with a lot of heart, and this team is going to be in the fight again for sure. 342 is another strong contender. Their alliance with 3490 at both events were knocking on the door of a win, missing the win at North Charleston by only 4 points in final number 3. The Birdie Magnetos had the third most L4 coral scored on Friday at North Charleston, and that includes 2 matches where coral got stuck in the robot during autonomous. They have made a fix for that and are working hard to get a two-piece auto going, as well as improving their potential for barge scoring. Let's see if they can finally get it done. Now, I debated a lot on who my dark horse will be. There's a lot of good choices here, but I went with 1102. Typically they're favorites, but struggled a lot at Hartsville and got a little bit better at North Charleston, but they were still plagued with some intake issues. They've since completely rebuilt it and stress tested it with the California method of driving at full speed into a brick wall. Even with their issues, they still ranked fairly high in the scouting data, thanks to their ground intake and auto-aligned scoring. I'm certain they'll be back at Anderson with a vengeance, trying to reclaim their throne as one of the top 2 teams in the state. A little extra time here, so I'll shout out some other strong teams to watch for. 3490, 2815, 8575, and 281 could all make a deep run in the playoffs with any of the teams listed above. This is going to be a fun event. Every team throughout the state has gotten better throughout the season, and I can't wait to see how this inaugural district championship plays out. Let's go to Joseph for our old friends in the Peachtree District.
This season has been an absolute blast down in the Peachtree District. 5 strong competitions have curated the best 45 teams to show down at Mercer University in Macon, Georgia, and it's sure to be an amazing watch. I've been particularly impressed with the level of competition in Peachtree this year, as quite a few teams have stepped up to close the gap between the top quartile and the rest. In no particular order, I'm looking out for 1261, 1683, 6340, 8866, 9260, 8080, and 6023 to make some noise and put up high scores. Nonetheless, there are still a few teams that have especially stood out from the crowd this season. Starting off with my lock for the Peachtree District Championship, it's Team 1771, North Gwinnett Robotics, with an EPA just shy of 85, placing them at a worldwide rank of 14. This wooden robot has cruised through 2 competitions and shows no signs of slowing down. Their newly debuted 4-coral autonomous routine from last weekend shows a strong start to each match. Quick feed from the coral station, effortless auto line, and a Mantown-style ground intake further lead to speedy cycles. A wrist mechanism for accurate trough scoring also enables them to be one of the few teams to consistently earn and even solo the coral ranking point. As we longingly anticipate a few filled reefs at DCMP, their algae capabilities and every bot climb will help top up their scores. Assuming they can run their dehumidifier and pass inspection, this team is poised to rank high and have a strong showing in playoffs. My first contender for the district championship is Team 1833, Team Bean. While their EPA may be slightly lower than others on this list, after 3 weeks of improvement from their strong performance at the Gwinnett event, I expect Team Bean to make a splash at DCMP. They boast one of the most consistent autos in the district and show off fast, accurate teleop scoring across all levels. As the only other team on this list with algae net capabilities, they gain a notable point advantage as their reef fills. The climber adds to their qualification prowess. With a refined autonomous and minor adjustments, Team Bean may well rise to the top of the rankings and become an excellent alliance partner or captain. Next up is Team 6919, the Commodores, fresh off a hometown win in Albany. Their well-built and compact robot has earned them 2 blue banners, in addition to their Impact Award win. Smooth cycles define this robot's performance, and with a consistent climber, they are set to excel in qualifications. They've also iterated to include a streamlined ground intake, allowing them to effortlessly place coral in the trough, something which many teams overlooked and has become quite a challenge here in Peachtree. While other teams have their peaks and lows, expect the Commodores to cruise with steady performance and easily make a deep run into playoffs. Also entering DCMP with 3 blue banners is Team 2974, Walton Robotics. A powerhouse for over a decade, Walton is known for expert driving and robots that perform. They execute quick cycles from the human station, scoring on L2 through L4. Uniquely, Walton possesses a fast algae intake that scores in the processor, leading to certain strategic advantages. We've seen them collect and score between 6 and up to 10 algae in rapid succession to clear the field, secure last-second processor points, and even use the opposing alliance's processor for cooperation. However, with DCMP being the deepest competition this season, I expect Walton may pivot back to filling the reef as quickly as possible. Keep an eye out for a climber addition and auton tweaks. With these, I think Walton has a chance to easily stand out during falls and well into playoffs. My dark horse for the Peachtree Championship is Team 1648, G3 Robotics. REEFSCAPE has been their best season in a while, with 2 final appearances and an upper echelon Peachtree EPA. While perhaps not as fast as some of these contenders, G3's ground intake, 2 coral autonomous, and consistent scoring will put up high scores when you aren't looking. At the States Pro event, as captain of the second alliance with partners 6340, the Maersk Manatees, they managed an unlikely upset against the Walton-led First Alliance. With 2 weeks of tuning since then, and hopefully a good match schedule, watch for this well-positioned dark horse to make a strong run at DCMP. That just about wraps up my list for the 2025 Peachtree District Championship. Expect defending champions 1771 and 2974 to vie for another win, but don't forget to watch out for the rest of the competition. Let me know what you think of these picks down in the comments. If you're in Macon, come stop by tomorrow. Wishing all teams competing this weekend good luck. This has been the Peachtree DCMP forecast.
After a little hiatus in Week 5, Chesapeake is ready to come together in Upper Marlboro, Maryland for the Chesapeake District Championships. While we saw many Rank 1 nominations early, the later events saw some interesting upsets, gameplay changes, and strategy developments. We were thoroughly kept on our toes, but now it's time to see who to keep an eye on going into this weekend. Taking our lock spot for this event is 422 MechTech Dragons. With a current record of 33-1-0, 422 has been on an absolute tear this season. Not only is Aurora an unstoppable force, this team has proceeded to max out the district points possible with 2 first seed wins, EI and Impact. Add on top of this knowing when to evolve the strategy, these dragons are already staged to be the final boss of Chesapeake. For Chesapeake this year, the West Coast products design was one of the most popular used for robots this year, and the team with one of the best iterations of this in the district is 1629 Garrett Coalition. This fast cycler has been dominant at their events, being the first pick of Alliance 1 each time and proceeding to take home 2 Blue Banner wins. While not using a climber, Gakko has revealed a potential strategy change in Autonomous that could allow for some versatility and cohesiveness in their match strategy that most teams will never even think of. Buzzing into our next contender spot is 836 Robo-Bees. After having a bit of a struggle at their first event, 836 proceeded to do what they do and clean up for event number 2, winning from the first pick of the second seed. One of the few ground intakes at this event, the Bees also provides one of the more accurate algae scoring mechanisms. Here's hoping they can stop touching the net and proceed to make the wonderful honey of victory out of the algae. Looking to make some magic happen is our final contender, 449 Blair Robot Project. Receiving 3 banners this year from a double win and an Impact Cling Bling, Blair is one of the fastest cyclers of coral for the entire district. While potential design limits with a lack of climbing, algae manipulation, and a fairly narrow coral intake, expect 449's driving to really make a difference and spur them to multiple wins. Flying into the dark horse spot at this event is the Rising Rookies 10224 MAV Mechanics. Boasting a Mechanim drive, a scrappy robot, and a scrappier team, MAV has really shown something this season that a lot of teams lack: understanding their robot's full potential. Their driving skills, their minute upgrades, their awareness of the robot's capability and versatility. This team truly has proven them to be a future contender in the district, and people should really keep an eye on them this weekend to potentially make an upset. There's a saying in my family: represent us well. And no matter what 17 teams we will be sending to Worlds this year, I know that each and every one of them will indeed represent the Chesapeake District well. I am so proud to be a part of this district and show that we are capable teams who can make waves and make a difference.
Thanks, everyone. Let's head on over to the 1st Michigan District for the 1st Michigan District Championship. We'll start off with James, who will be covering the DTE Energy Foundation Division. Then we'll move over to Varsho, who will be covering the Hemlock Semiconductor Division. Then we'll move over to Epiphany, who will be covering the Consumers Energy Division. And then we'll move to Luke, who will be covering the Aptiv Division.
Thank you, Angel. Fun Nation, buckle up. It's our favorite time of the year. It's time for the Michigan State Championship. We have 160 of Michigan's best and brightest teams traveling to Saginaw Valley State University for its 7th edition of the Pinnacle event. I'll be on site this weekend filming behind the bumpers and pit stops, and I can't wait to see the heat that Finn brings. 4 divisions, 32 alliances, but only one will take it all home. Without further ado, let's reveal our forecast for the DTE Energy Foundation field. Our lock for DTE was hard to decipher, but I'm confident with my pick of legendary team 33, the Killer Bees. The Bees have broken confidently into the 2025 season with 2 number 1 alliance wins, and their robot is prepared to tear it up at DTE. With their lean back climb and consistent autos, 33 is easily the favorite for the 1 seed at this point. 33 knows how to iterate, and in the 2 weeks since Troy, I'm confident they are still improving. I forecast 33 to take the division and return to Fimstein for their first time since 2022. Our first contender is defending state champion and Hall of Fame Team 27 Rush. 27 has listened to Tom Nader all season long and collected some low-hanging fruit. With recent arm upgrades they rolled out at the Saline District, they'll be looking to contend for the state title this weekend. 27 boasts the best climber in the world, breaking to climb in the single digits, and yet they always have time to spare. They took home the silver in both their FIM district events, but they claimed the blue banner down in St. Louis. And they'll look to get back to those blue banner ways and take home 2 more this weekend. Pivoting over to the west side of the state, our next contender is Team 2054, the Tech Vikes. With the 2nd most innovation and control awards in FIRST history, the Tech Vikes boast a 4-piece auto and an intricate windmill archetype. The Vikes took home a silver at both St. Joseph and West Michigan, but reigned in the gold last weekend at Kentwood. Be on the lookout in any match the Tech Vikes are in this weekend. This robot is elite. Our final contender has been flying under the radar surprisingly a bit this season. It's Team 3538, the Robo Jackets. Always a staple in FIM, they won 2 banners in weeks 1 and 3, and I'm sure they've been kicking up some great improvements in their break. The Jackets put 3 L4 Coral on in auto, and I would expect them to roll out a 4-piece this weekend. They've been on Fimstein 3 out of the last 4 years, and they'll look to earn their way back this weekend at SVSU. Sneaking into the dark horse spot is Team 9312 and NerdSpark. NerdSpark started off their career with a bang with an Einstein run back in 2023, and they're still putting out some of the most ingenuitive designs at first. Their massive arm and complicated inverse kinematics, I imagine, that go into it are beyond impressive. I can't wait to see it this weekend. Did I mention they have a 3-piece auto as well? I could see NerdSpark putting together a pretty strong round this weekend, so we'll have to keep an eye out for them. Best of luck to all the teams competing this weekend at States. Next, let's take a look at the Aptiv division with Varsha.
Next up, we're heading to the Aptiv division. The Aptiv division is full of surprises every season, with underground alliances taking home the division blue banner. Last season, we saw Alliance 7 take home the blue banner, who followed 2023's Alliance 5 doing the same. Looking into teams, let's start off with my lock for this event. Starting us off, we have our 2022 state champions, 2337 Engineers from Grand Blanc, Michigan. They currently have ranked first at both their district events, Kettering Week 1 and Livonia. On top of that, they even took home the winning blue banner at both of these events. They have a smooth and fast-scoring autonomous, scoring 3 pieces in the L4 and 1 in the L2. I'm sure they'll be looking towards earning 2 more blue banners at this event to continue their streak this season. Heading over to our contenders, my first for this event is 2137, the Oxford Robocats from Oxford, Michigan. They ranked 3rd at their first event, Kettering Week 1, and took home the blue banner. At their next district event, they ranked 3rd and were district event finalists for the Saline district event, where they showed a consistent 3.5 coral autonomous. They've been on the up for the past few seasons, and I'm sure this world qualifying team would aim to earn another blue banner this season. My second contender for this event is the World Division Champion Team 2075 Enigma Robotics from Grand Rapids, Michigan. They've been on the up this season, ranking 3rd at their first event, the Muskegon District event. They followed this up with finishing at rank 1 and took home the blue banner at the Kentwood District event. They have a consistent 3-piece auto that will be important for the state championships. Last season, 2075 finished 4th here at the Active Division and will look into building on their momentum to fight for the blue banner. My last contender for this event is last season's Active Division winners, the 226 Hammerheads from Troy, Michigan. They ranked 1st and 2nd respectively at their district events, Lake City and Troy. They have a 3-piece auto and the ability to almost fill the entire L4 of the reef, making them a high scorer for this event. They are back-to-back state division champions and are going to be looking to extend their banner streak this weekend. To round off, my dark horse for this event is 9673 Ithaca Volt Vespits from Ithaca, Michigan. With only 1 full season of experience, they made playoff appearances at both their district events. They were even Alliance captains at their most recent district event, Traverse City. They've shown some great defense that will make a major impact during playoffs. With that, best of luck to all the teams competing at the Active Division during FIM State Championships.
Welcome to the FRC forecast for the 2025 Michigan State Championship Hemlock Semiconductor Division. My name is E. Lockman, and today I'll be coming at you with my lock contenders and dark horse for the super-powered field at Saginaw Valley State. First up is my lock. Now, this is a very hard choice, as the number 1 seed is very likely to be a hard-fought battle between all of the teams on my list. Notably, there are a whole bunch of teams that I considered but didn't make the cut, as these divisions are always so powerful. But nonetheless, at the lock position, I have from Gladstone Area Schools in Gladstone, Michigan, Team 4391 Brave Bots. Currently ranked 3rd in the Michigan District with a 33-1-0 record, winners of Escanaba and LSSU, and captain of Alliance 1 at each event they've won, this robot has returned to the Hemlock Division with a vengeance. Sporting an L4 coral shooter that doesn't miss, as well as an efficient auton and stellar driving, this team is more than brave enough to take down their division and make it to Fimstein. I predict that 4391 has got just a little bit more firepower than the other top contenders in the division, and thus they are my lock pick for Hemlock. My first contender was a very hard-fought choice. However, I have to give the edge to the team from Huron Valley Schools in Highland, Michigan, Hall of Famers Team 67, the Hot Team. With a current record of 32-3 and ranked number 5 in the FIM district, slightly behind the aforementioned 4391, the Hyperhex Offender team sports a pivoting arm with a wrist, as well as a speedy deep climb and a chassis built to withstand even the toughest of impacts. With event wins at both Milford and Saline, this team is battle-hardened and ready to compete for that number 1 spot. I am predicting that 67 will make a deep playoff run and is all but guaranteed a finalist, or winner, slot here at Hemlock. My second contender is on the same level as 67, and they even have the Hot Team's number in their name. From Kalamazoo County 4-H in Kalamazoo, Michigan, it's Team 2767 Strike Force. Winners of St. Joseph and West Michigan, with a 32-3 record and currently ranked number 10 in the FIM district, this team flies into Hemlock looking for another banner to add to their collection. The two-time world champions bring to the table one of the most efficient robots in Michigan, completing supercycles left and right. Although they are only human-fed, this does not stop them from raking up cycle after cycle. I predict that 2767 will also make a deep playoff run and more likely than not end up as finalist and division winner. My third contender on this list is... Wait a minute, is that a rookie team? That's right, they're a family community team from Marquette, Michigan. It's Team 10589, the Binary Crows. They flew onto the scene this season in style, currently boasting a 25-10-1 record and ranked number 13 in the FIM district. They were winners at Escanaba alongside my lock pick 4391 and finalists at Ferris State, where they took the number 1 seed to 4 matches in the finals. This murder of crows has been no slouch with their robot, as they feature efficient end effectors on a fast elevator as well as consistent autos and great driving. This team has more than enough firepower to fly into a deep playoff run, and I think a lot of people will be surprised with their performance here on Hemlock this weekend. Lastly, my dark horse pick is none other than the family community team from Flint, Michigan. It's Team 1506 Metal Muscle. Kettering number 2 Impact winners, Troy finalists, and with a 25-9 record, this team is more than ready to flex their muscles here on Hemlock. With a unique double end effector that only seemed to get more and more efficient at scoring as the season went on, I am more than expecting 1506 to secure one of the top spots here at MSC, as well as regain their 2023 Michigan State Champion title. That's all from my end. Let's send it over to Luke to talk about the Consumers Energy Division. Luke, take it away.
Alright, last but certainly not least, we've got the Consumers Energy Division here at the First in Michigan State Championship. This is a great division, pretty stacked. I wouldn't say it's the most stacked division. I would give that to DTE with James. But this is one of the top divisions. It is First in Michigan State's, so everybody is a top team here. And everybody's going for Fimstein, that coveted state championship winners banner. But before I get into the forecast, I'd just like to wish a good luck to all the teams competing around first this weekend, whether it be at a district championship or a regional event. Especially to those at a district championship, congratulations on making it this far. We all at Fun know how hard you've all worked for this, and we'd like to wish you all a good luck and congratulations. But getting on into our forecast, starting off on the lock, I've got Team 5460 Strike Zone. They've got the amazing record of 30-4 with no playoff losses, giving them 2 blue banners. First win coming at Kettering 1 as captain of Alliance 1, and the second coming at Saline as the first pick of Alliance 1. They've also got the highest EPA on this division field, and they've got the 8th highest in the state. Very, very good robot. I'd say they're the hands-down favorite for this division. That's why I've got them at the lock. They'd probably be a hands-down favorite on almost every division, but they've got some tough robots to compete against. This is states after all, and everybody wants a shot. So, starting off, contender number 1, we've got Team 3620 Average Joes. They're coming in with 3 blue banners, a double Kling Bling at St. Joseph with a Impact and Winner banner on week 2. And then at week 4 in Woodhaven, they've got the winner banner. And they did both of those as the first pick of Alliance 1. They've got the 2nd highest EPA on this division field and the 11th highest in the state. Very, very, very good robot. Now, the awards speak for themselves. Not just a great robot, but a great team. Just a model team for first. But they're not the only top team coming in at the contenders. Starting off our second contender, I've got Team 3572 Wavelength. They've got 2 blue banners, both as Alliance captains. The first at Lake City as captain of Alliance 2, and the second coming Muskegon week 3 as captain of Alliance 1. And since they haven't competed since week 3, they've had a lot of time to perfect their autons and that drive just a lot of practice going into that robot to prepare it for states. And they're coming in with the 3rd highest division EPA and 14th in the states. And they're going to take all that downtime, you could call it, that they've been using to practice, and they might show off at states, and they have a shot to make it to Femstein. Our final contender is Team 4967, that one team. They've got the 5th highest EPA on this division field, and they're 34th in the state. They've continued to progress their robot and improve throughout the season, making it faster and more accurate, improving their auton and their general accuracy. Very, very good robot. They were actually finalists at this division last year, and so I've got them as a contender because they're going to be looking to make that jump up to Femstein, and you could call it break the curse of finalist syndrome that they've had this season. Our last pick for this event is the Dark Horse. I've got Team 9245 Laker Dreadnoughts. They're in their 3rd season, and this is going to be their 2nd states appearance. They've got the 7th highest EPA in the division and the 38th highest in the state. And that's, again, just in their 3rd season. They were winners at Troy, first pick of Alliance 1. And speaking of Troy, in Finals 1, they had a 3-piece auton, and they followed that up by almost solo filling L2 and L3 of the Reef, allowing their Alliance Captain 33 Killer Bees to fill L4, allowing for a full Reef. Except L1, because we don't count L1. But they've got an amazing robot. They were cooking at Troy, and they're going to be a top team to look out for. That they might cook consumers and lesser known team coming in hot. But that's all I've got over here on consumers. Again, good luck to all the teams competing across all the division championships and all of the regional events this weekend. And we'll see you for champs.
Thanks, everyone. Now let's head on over to the U.S. North and the Ontario District Championship, where we have Emma, who will be covering the Ontario Science Division, and Nick, who will be covering the Ontario Technology Division. Finally, we'll end off with Adam, who will be covering the first Indiana District Championship.
Welcome up north for the last official 2025 event to be held on Canadian soil, the Ontario District Championships, and more specifically, the Science Division. Starting with my lock for this division, Team Dave, number 3683. With an EPA of 95.6 and 2 event wins under their belt, this team will be hard to beat. Boasting a consistent 4-piece auto and an efficient robot that has tied the record for most reefs filled at 8. Team Dave has an impressive season with 144 district points. For a more in-depth look, be sure to check out 3683's Behind the Bumpers interview. My first contender is Team 4907, the Thunderstance. Known for creating unique and competitive robots, this year is no different. With a suction cup algae mechanism that allows them to easily score in the barge, you definitely want to watch this robot. The Thunderstumps are currently sitting at an EPA of 72.3 and ranked 7th in the district, having picked up both a silver and gold medal at their events this year. I have no doubt that they'll be pushing for another blue banner this weekend. My second contender is Team 4476, Waffles. They're a community team based out of Kingston and are ranked 8th in the district with an EPA of 70.7. Much like my last contender, Waffles has already picked up a silver and gold medal this season. This team hasn't competed since week 3, and I can't wait to see what they've been working on since their last event. My final contender of the Science Division is Team 1241, Theory 6. Coming off the last of their 3 events this year, this team has not had much turnaround time between loadout of McMaster and load-in of District Champs. This team is no stranger to the podium, with 1 third place and 2 second place finishes this year. If you're interested in learning more about the mechanisms that make their robots so successful, check out their Behind the Bumpers interview coming soon. My dark horse for this event is Team 7520, Team Meinke. With a solid 2-piece auto and steady placements of coral on the reef, this robot is a great Alliance member. Ranked 19th in Ontario on Robotics with an EPA of 52.7. This team is great at driving around defense and cycling coral. That's all for me. Good luck to all the teams competing in the Science Division of the Ontario District Championship this weekend.
Now that Emma's broken down the Science Division for us, we can move on over to the Technology Division. It's set to be a great event, with 6 teams scoring an estimated average of greater than 75 points per match individually. 2 of those teams are even in the global top 10. With this event set to kick off incredibly soon, let's take a look at my predictions for this division. Starting it off is my lock, or the team I firmly expect to win. For that, I had to pick 2056 OP Robotics. They've been taking the world by storm as of late, helping set several world records along the way. They've won every single match they've played this season, a distinction that I believe they share with just one other team at this point. They're ranked second in the world as we get ready for the start of Week 6, and watching their gameplay makes it evident why. They have an extraordinary ground intake and quick manipulators to score everything this game allows, as well as a deep cage climb that gets them off the ground in a handful of seconds. All of this is why they're my lock for the Technology Division. This leads me to my contenders, or teams that I have incredibly high hopes for, even if I don't hold the same firm confidence for them as I do the lock. My first pick here is going to be 4678 Cybercavs. They've ranked first at both of their district events and served as the winning alliance captains. Currently ranked 8th in the world by EPA, they're also sporting an extraordinarily strong machine. They have a large hopper to allow their human player to throw the coral in and trust it to stay, landing it and placing it into their arm, which can retrieve and place coral in very little time. They've built an incredibly impressive coral cycler and have a nice deep cage climb to boot. With all of this, I expect them to do quite well in the next few days. My next contender is 5409 Chargers. They're a more recent rising powerhouse in Ontario, seeing their first big success in the 2022 season when they won all 3 of their district events. They appear to be replicating that success again this season, as they've won both of their events so far, including a completely undefeated run at North Bay. This season, they went for a coral hopper design, which allows them to get between the coral station and reef for scoring quite quickly. They were in the Technology Division Finals last season, and I have high hopes that they could be there again on Saturday. That leads us to my third contender, which is 4946 the Alpha Dogs. They went undefeated at Newmarket and served as the 1-seeded Winning Alliance captains, as well as making finals on the 1-seed Alliance at North Bay. They use a unique elevator-mounted flipping mechanism that allows them to flip between their coral and algae manipulators. It also allows them to quickly slide coral right on the reef with a sort of windmill move, or to toss algae a decent distance over to the net. Pair that with their strong deep cage climb, and I'm predicting a great performance on their part in this division. Finally, that leads me to my dark horse. This is a team that I expect to do well, but that doesn't have the same name recognition for some reason or another. My pick here is 188 Blizzard. They've really improved over the past few years, winning the Centennial College event. It was their first time playing in an event final since the COVID shutdown, and given that they weren't quite able to hit the cut for DCMP just 2 years ago, it's great to see them putting up a strong performance now. They opted for a big hopper to feed their overall manipulator, which also has an algae intake built into it, allowing them to pull algae off the reef and score it in the net. With all of this, I'm hoping to see them make a strong showing later this week. With that, we move along to Adam, who's covering the Indiana State Championship. Take it away, Adam.
Welcome back to Indiana for the Finn District Championship. Across 4 competitive events, we have seen teams work hard to earn their rightful slot as one of the 38 teams to compete for a slot in Houston. Throughout those events, we've seen countless great robots, and in particular seen 4 teams pull ahead as the captains or first picks of all winning alliances. Let's jump right into it with our lock. It's hard to miss the performance of Team 7457 Super Duper Robotics. With a current record of 32-2 and an undefeated win at their Week 4 event, 7457 has been working hard to stay on top of the competitive scene. With an EPA of 71.1, I imagine their supercycle capability and improvements between competitions will keep them on top. Moving on to our contenders, first up is Team 868 the Tech Hounds. 868 has been putting up a similarly insane performance. With an EPA of 80.5 and a new 4-piece auto shown at the Washington District event, TechHunt has made it a challenge to organize this list and will certainly be a challenge to upset at any point this weekend. Up next as our second contender, it's Team 1501 Thrust. I'm sure I sound like a broken record, but 1501 has been on a crazy run this season as well. Not only was this their first season since 2014 where they earned anything but exactly 1 banner, they smashed that standard by taking on a 3rd event of which they also won. With their own 4-piece auto and an EPA of 65.7, 1501 is sure to make another deep run at this event. Oh, and did I forget to mention they can also do algae in the net now? Our last, but certainly not least contender, is Team 4272 Maverick Robotics. With an EPA of 64.2, Maverick has been making slow and steady improvements throughout the season. With them competing in weeks 3 and 4 back-to-back, there is minimal time for change, but with 2 weeks to see how metas evolve and work on their already credible machine, I'm sure they'll be putting up even more impressive numbers. Backed by an awesome support crew to help out alliance partners and make their own auto changes to mesh with others during playoffs, it'll be hard to miss them when they're on the field. To close out our Finn State Championship forecast, it's our dark horse. And after looking over the event several times, it's simply too hard to ignore Team 447 Roboto. Yes, they were picked at both events, and yes, they even made it to match 13 at one of them as the second pick of Alliance 5, but they are simply too surprising to ignore. Focusing on algae, they have been helpful to any alliance as they clear the reef of it, but their biggest factor to me is their auto. Placing an initial core before shooting one algae into the net is a great support auto to other alliance partners, and maybe they've even squeaked out that second algae they go for towards the end. Add on a deep climb, and you've got a phenomenal robot for auto and endgame, then some defense or perhaps cleanup during teleop. To close out Indiana for the final time this season, good luck to all teams competing, and I hope to see many of you this weekend, and perhaps even in Houston for champs. Let's head to Angel for a quick break before our next regional.
Thanks, everyone. Now let's head on over to Texas and the Pacific Northwest, where we have Tausif, who will be covering the 1st in Texas Mercury Division, and me, who will be covering the 1st in Texas Apollo Division. Finally, we'll end off with Andre, who will be covering the Pacific Northwest District Championship.
The 1st in Texas divisions are out. With 45 teams competing at each field, let's look over the Mercury field. We got a lot of contenders at this competition, but unfortunately I'm only allowed to pick 3. But for my lock, it was very simple to who to pick. Team 118, the Robotics, competing at 5 events already, all of them with a blue banner. They're currently number 7 highest EPA worldwide and number 1 in Texas. EPA of a 97.8. 118 Robotics is a for sure lock for this division. They also have won the past 2 district championships, so it'll be fun to see them compete in person this time. I can finally get to see them compete at districts championship. It's going to be really fun to see them compete. They've never lost in playoffs, so I'm for sure going to try to keep that streak alive. They're currently undefeated from week 4 at Houston and week 5 Space City, so they might be trying to keep that undefeated streak going so far. They've only lost a total of 6 matches out of the 85 matches they played so far, so it's going to be really fun to see them compete. But who knows who their alliance partner is going to be. And so with that, my first contender for the Mercury field is Team 148 Robo Wranglers. We have not seen the Space Cowboys Alliance since 2020 Plano. That was a week 2 event back in 2020, and man, it was fun to see those two compete together. Now we haven't seen them in a playoff alliance since. So I'm excited to see them compete, hopefully maybe together. We might get some qualification matches with them together. It'd be really fun to see them compete. Robo Wranglers has not competed since week 2 Plano of this season, with 1 blue banner under their belt so far. So it's going to be really fun to see them compete. They have a brand new rebuilt robot, so they have a ground intake and a bunch of other great things. So it's going to be really fun to see them compete. For my next contender is Team 6369 Mercenary Robotics. They're number 2 in Texas with a total EP of 79.8. They are showing off this season. Undefeated at the Belton District event and only lost 1 match at Amarillo week 5. They are doing amazing. Really excited to see them play. They're able to do everything. Reef, algae, so much more. So it's really excited to see them compete and perform at this level. So it's been really fun to see them. And for my last contender is Team 3847 Spectrum. EPA of 55. They have won both of their events at Belton and Houston. So they're looking to come in and make a stand. They've always had a great showing at District Championship. They're also able to do everything, climb, algae, coral, with amazing wrist mechanism. So it'll be really fun to see them compete in Mercury. Now for my dark horse, I got team 8177 Vector, and they are working through their robot. They have a brand new end effector on their robot, but they're able to climb. They're able to do coral really well. They're really smooth as well. So I'm excited to see a team potentially pick them during Alliance and do really well with them, because knowing Vector, they're always able to show off at the last second and be, oh yeah, great on the field. So really excited to see all 45 teams compete at the Mercury division. Good luck to everyone there, and good luck to all the other teams out of Apollo. I'm really excited to see the finale of First in Texas come to an end. Good luck to everyone at First in Texas.
Alright everyone, it's championship time in the Lone Star District. With divisions being released, let's take a dive into the Apollo division. For this division, my lock is going to be 3005 Robochargers. With an EPA of 77.9, they're first on the field, third in the state. Reasons I'm picking Robochargers as the lock for this division is because of their history. The past 2 years, they have won the Texas District Championship, and I don't expect them to not try to win a third year in a row. Other reasons why is because of their fast, effective scoring, especially when it comes to the algae from the reef into the barge. And if you've been noticing how this game's been played, it's algae in the barge that's been making the high scores, that's been winning matches, that's been winning events. So for those reasons, I'm going to go with 3005 as the lock for the Apollo division. Moving on, we go to our contenders. My first contender is 6800 Valor with an EPA of 74.8. They're second on the field, fourth in the state. Winners of the Tomball and Manor events. The reason I'm picking this team is because of their fast cycles, especially when it comes to coral. They have a funnel system, making it so that when they go to the feed station, they don't have to stay there long. Quick, drop a piece of coral, quick, go back to the reef and score. On top of that, they also are pretty good at scoring algae in the barge and can climb, so this is a well-rounded bot. So great contender on the Apollo field, 6800 Valor. My next contender is 5572, the Roz bots. 61.7 EPA, fourth on the field, eighth in the state. Winners of the San Antonio event. The first time I saw this bot, I went wow, because of how effective, how cool it was scoring game pieces. Not only that, they have some interesting strategies, especially when it comes to algae. Not only can they score it in the barge, but they can also throw it behind so it gets stuck within the reef to clear up the area, which I thought was pretty cool, pretty creative strategies. They keep this up. Very great contender on the Apollo division. Next, we go to our last contender. It's 5411 Robo Talons with an EPA of 62.7. They're third on the field, sixth in the state. Winners of the Plano event and winners of Impact at Amarillo. They're a great team, especially well-rounded, considering that they're here to compete, as well as they're here as a contender, and as well as a contender for the Impact Award for the Texas District. So best of luck to them. Great overall, well-rounded robot. I think that they're right there. Maybe not enough to get them in lock position, but enough to where if you're against them, you're gonna really want to plan playing against them, because they are a serious contender here on the Apollo field. Next, we're going to head it over to our Dark Horse, which our Dark Horse is going to be the same as Space City's Dark Horse last year. This year is 6357, the Spring Constants, with an EPA of 34.4. They're 23rd on the field, 48th in the state, and winners of the Space City Impact Awards. Another team who is doing great, competing for such a prestigious award. The reason I'm picking them as the Dark Horse, this past event that they did at Space City, they did a lot of changes. Didn't go all of that perfect when it comes to auto and stuff, right? They're kind of missing a little bit, but if they've taken the time to adjust, like I know they have, and did the little minor changes between that quick turnaround from Space City to District Championship, they're going to be a really great second pick when it comes to this event. And they especially the way that they were playing defense in Space City, man, this team can play defense. So if you're looking for a good defense spot, highly consider this spot. But it's that reason that I think that this team can be a dark horse and be the team that actually makes it or breaks it for an alliance. So 6357 dark horse for Apollo. With that being said, that is my forecast for Apollo.
The final PNW Showdown for the Pacific Northwest District Championship held in Cheney, Washington is always an exciting event where teams in and out of our district PNW being one of our competitive districts, we are home to many great teams, many of which are in the top 100 teams based off of EPA. Surprisingly, only 3 teams from Oregon have won this event, going back to the founding of our district in 2014. Team 955 in 2015 and 1540 and 6443 last year. Will this season be the season we expand our Oregon champions? Going through our team, starting with our lock at this event, it's, you guessed it, Team 2910 Jack and Bob. Team 2910, at their most recent district event, the Auburn district event, came in with a shocking robot that not only boasted the highest EPA in the district, but also the second highest EPA in the world as of week 4, only dropping to the 3rd highest EPA considering week 5 events. For our first contender, this will be going to the rising Einstein competitors here in the PNW. Team 1778, Chill Out. 1778 has been dominating the season here in the PNW, winning both of their district events while also having a shocking EPA pre-event of 80.7, placing them 22 in the world. Chill Out has been dominating Coral Cycles all year with their incredible ground intake, putting up scores to compete with the best of the best. For our second contender, we'll be headed south and west to Bend, Oregon, where Team 5468 Chaos 3 has been the major dark horse of the season in the Pacific Northwest. 5468 is coming in with an amazing robot record. Finalists at the Canadian Pacific Regional, finalists at their Sundome District event, and finally taking home the blue at the Wilsonville District event. All of that combined, with them being this year's Digital Animation Award recipients, put them at having an incredible season so far. For our final contender, this slot is going to be going to Team 9450 Velocity Raptors, who are a second-year FRC team. 9450 wanted complexity on their robot, and they ran with it, rocking a differential wrist attached to an elevator, which for an ordinary team would be too crazy to do, but the Velocity Raptors have tuned it down to a T. This robot, being the winners of the Sundom District event, is almost guaranteed to shock competition at the District Championship. Finally, our dark horse for this PNW District Championship will be going to the Northwest Royalty themselves, 2522 Royal Robotics. At their first district event, Royal Robotics was an above-average robot, placing them 5th overall in rankings. With the Bonnie Lake District event, Team 2522 went wild, having a qualification record of 10-2 and ending ranked 2nd. If 2522 is going to keep continuing improving at this rate, we can expect a lot from them coming at the District Championship. Good luck to all teams competing at the District Championship this weekend, and congrats to everyone who qualified as well.
Next, let's take a look at our regionals this week, where we have Ari, who will be covering the New York Regional, James, who will be covering the South Florida Regional, Scott, who will be covering the Bayou Regional, Dan, who will be covering the Buckeye Regional and the Wisconsin Regional, and Robotino, who will be covering the Minnesota Granite City Regional and the Minnesota North Star Regional.
Thanks, Angel. Next up, we have the New York City Regional, where our lock is going to be Team 1796, the Robo Tigers. Our contenders for this event are going to be Team 694, Stypulse, 9642, Into Robotics, 4027, Center Punch, and our dark horse is going to be Team 6593. 1796 stands out above all of these teams. The Robo Tigers have an extraordinarily consistent machine that they tuned in at the New York Tech Valley Regional a few weeks ago. They started out the season a little bit rocky, but were able to pull through and have a consistent cycling machine that does super cycles in the net and scores coral efficiently on the reef. Expect them to be in finals, and if not, they'll win the event.
Next up, we're going to be talking about our last event from Florida this year, the South Florida Regional down in Miami. First up will be our lock, Team 180 Spam. Spam was the number 1 seed in Orlando and went undefeated through elims, and is hoping to repeat that performance down in South Florida. For contenders, next up will be Team 179 Children of the Swamp, Spam's alliance partner from Orlando, and hoping to do another repeat performance with them. Next up in our contenders will be 2383 the Ninjaneers. They've already had a pair of finalist appearances at the Green Country and Northern Lights Regionals, and are looking to add a gold to their pair of silvers. Finally will be 108 Sigma Cats. Sigma Cats was a finalist in Tallahassee and is looking to upgrade from silver to gold in South Florida. And the last team we're going to talk about will be Team 5557, our dark horse, the BB Raiders. 5557 had a pair of finalist appearances last year and an early exit from Tallahassee this year, and with the time they've had to improve that robot, they're looking to punch their ticket to champs down in Miami. That's it for Florida this year. Looking forward to talking to you all next week about champs.
56 teams will gather in Kenner, Louisiana for this year's Bayou Regional. My lock for the event is going to be Team 8044 Denim Venom, finalist at both the Arkansas and Magnolia Regionals. This robot, capable of having a 2-piece autonomous, scoring both coral and algae at all levels, and with 3 weeks to improve their robot, I expect them to come out and be on top at this year's event. Next, we have 3 contenders looking to challenge our lock. First, starting off, we have Team 2992 SS Prometheus, who won the Magnolia Regional. Team 2036 Boulder Valley Black Knights, who are captains of the 6 Alliance at the Arkansas Regional, and they made it all the way to the finals of the lower bracket of the Colorado Regional. Finally, we have Team 16 Bomb Squad, who are the captains of the 5th Alliance from the Arkansas Regional. Wrapping it up, we have my dark horse. It's going to be Team 2183 Tiger Bots.
Next up, we have the Buckeye Regional in Cleveland, Ohio. Our lock for this event is going to be 3015 Ranger Robotics, who's coming off a very impressive season. Looking to challenge them, however, it's going to be 3173 Igniters, 4611 Ozone, and 695 Bison Robotics. Our dark horse at this event is going to be 2603 Steel Stingers. This team is certainly capable of doing a lot in all portions of this game, and they definitely got the short end of the stick at the Great Pittsburgh Regional. Looking forward to seeing how all 56 teams here compete this weekend, and best of luck to everyone attending. Next up, we have the Wisconsin Regional in West Allis, Wisconsin. Our lock for this event is going to be 1732 Hilltopper Robotics. But looking to challenge them and take home the blue banner at this event for themselves are going to be 4655 State Line Robotics, 1625 Winnovation, and 4786 Nicolette Fear. Our dark horse for this event is going to be 2358 Bearbotics. This team is one of the few teams at this event that actually has a banner from this year. They have a L4 auto, a deep climb, and play some mean defense. Best of luck to all 48 teams competing at this event this weekend.
The Granite City Regional. Lots of teams looking for this win. But I'm going to be locking in 4607 CIS as taking this thing home. My first contender, also going to take this win, is going to be 3276 Toolcats. Second contender, 7028 Saber Robotics. And my last contender looking to take this win home is 4728 Ricori Ratcheteers. As for the dark horse choice for this event, it's not 3883, but it is the other 883, 2883 Fred. The Minnesota North Star Regional. Many great teams showing up to this event, but I can only choose one as my lock-in, and that's going to be 2530 Inconceivable as my winners. So these contenders are not going to make it easy. My first contender is 2129 Ultraviolet, followed by my second contender is 2052 Nightcrawlers. My last contender looking for this win is going to be 3100 The Lightning Turtles. As for my dark horse choice, well, I'm going to go with 1816 The Green Machine.
Thanks, everyone. Now we head over to our last group of regionals, where we have Scott, who will be covering the Smoky Mountains Regional and the Oklahoma Regional. And then we move over to Stanford, who will be covering the Aerospace Valley Regional, the Central Valley Regional, and our featured regional, the East Bay Regional.
For our next event, we have the Smoky Mountains Regional. This year, 47 teams will gather for this year's event. My lock to win the event is going to be Team 3937 Breakaway, winners of the Impact Award at the Arkansas Regional and winners of the Green Country Regional. With a nearly 3-piece autonomous and an extremely capable robot, Breakaway seems well poised to win this year's event. Looking to try and take the win, it's going to be our contenders, starting off with 4020 Cyber Tribe, winners from the Rocket City Regional, 8570 the Binary Bolts, captains from the Second Alliance and winners of the Minnesota 10,000 Lakes Regional, and Team 233 the Pink Team, captains from the Second Alliance and finalists from the Tallahassee Regional. Finally, our dark horse for this event is going to be Team 6517 So No Robo. Moving on to our next event, we have the Oklahoma Regional. 48 teams will gather at Fire Lake Arena in Shawnee, Oklahoma. My lock for the event is going to be Team 4522, Team Scream, winners of the Central Missouri Regional and finalists at the Sacramento Regional. Having already shown a willingness to make a shift in design and more than 2 weeks of preparation, the reigning world champs should be well positioned to bring home another win for this year. Our 3 contenders for the event. To start off, we're going to have Team 6424 Stealth Panther Robotics, captains of the 3rd Alliance at the Arkansas Regional and winners of the Green Country Regional. Next, we have Team 1986 Team Titanium, first pick of the number 1 Alliance from the Heartland Regional, making it all the way to the finals of the lower bracket. Finally, we have Team 1561 the Robotics, and they were finalists at the Green Country Regional. Wrapping it up, we have our dark horse. I'm going to choose Team 1764 Liberty Robotics.
First up for the final week of regionals out here in California is the Aerospace Valley Regional at Eastside High School in Lancaster. Our lock for this event is Team 4415 Epic Robots, who have had an incredible season so far. They've now won 2 regionals as the number 2 seed Alliance captain, and their machine is a force to be reckoned with out on the field. Their algae game in particular is strong, with buttery smooth shots going into the net, algae after algae, match after match. Joining them are contenders 5199 Robot Dolphins from Outer Space, who are still looking for a regional win this year, 7157 Robotics, and 7709 Formosa Pangolin joining us all the way from Taiwan. Finally, our dark horse is Team 6560 Charging Champions, who have an absolute beast of a robot that could really surprise our locks and contenders. Good luck to all the teams out in Lancaster this weekend. Moving up north is the Central Valley Regional, where 42 teams will take to the field at the Fresno County Fairgrounds. Our lock for CVR is Team 1197 the Torbots, who won the LA Regional in Week 3 in convincing fashion. They have a very reliable 3-piece autonomous and have since added a ground coral intake for fast, tricky-to-defend teleop cycles. Pair that with a reliable climb, and this Torrance-based team will definitely be one to watch this weekend. Joining them are contenders 6036 Peninsula Robotics, who had a deep run as the 4-seed Alliance captain at the San Francisco Regional, 971 Spartan Robotics, and 973 Greybots, who last competed in Week 1, so have had plenty of time to optimize what was a solid foundation of a robot. Finally, our dark horse is Team 3970 Duncan Dynamics, who possess solid algae capabilities alongside their smooth coral placement. Best of luck to all the teams playing in Fresno this weekend. Finally, the events in California this week is the East Bay Regional, where 56 teams will take to the field at Berkeley High School. Last year saw one of the craziest events in the state happen here, with a lot of the big names from NorCal all fighting for the W and a world record set along the way. This year features some new faces and notable absences compared to last, but I expect it will still be a fantastic show. Our lock for East Bay, who I expect to rank high and take home a winner's banner when the dust settles, is Team 254 the Cheesy Poofs. The 5-time world champs last competed at Week 3's Sacramento Regional, where they took a dominant victory. The Poofs really have every capability in the book, with the ability to get coral from both the ground and the coral station, get algae from the reef and the ground for deposition into the net, and climb quickly. They also had a consistent 4-piece autonomous that was a sight to behold. You can bet the San Jose squad will be awe-inspiring out on the field in Berkeley. Next is our contenders, who are within reach of pairing up with or upsetting our lock. First among these is Team 4270, the Crusaders from Hawaii, getting one last play in California before we move over to districts. The Honolulu-based team has already taken 2 regional victories this year, with W's at both the Canadian Pacific and Hawaii regionals. They have a really strong ground coral intake paired with a fast arm and elevator, enabling some impressively fast coral cycling. Their algae capabilities weren't quite as strong as the Poofs, but I expect the Crusaders to hover near the top of the rankings throughout this regional and possibly take home their 3rd banner this year come playoffs. Our next contender is Team 8033 Highlander Robotics, competing at their 3rd regional this year. With a finals appearance at the San Francisco Regional, 8033 have proven their might out on the field. They very quickly get coral from the coral station with a funnel so effective it makes them really pretty tricky to defend. Their placement on the reef is smooth, and they possess decently strong algae net capabilities as well. They also had a 4-piece autonomous that, with some reliability tweaks, could put them at a big advantage in the first 15 seconds of the match. I definitely expect this Piedmont-based team to be hanging out at the top end of the rankings, and who knows, maybe they can finally take home their first regional win at East Bay this weekend. Our final contender is Team 5419 Berkelion. The hosts of this regional are an interesting case when it comes to their on-field performance. When left alone, they are an extremely strong coral station cycler with quick lineups and smooth acquisitions from the human player. That said, they had 2 weaknesses at their last event. Their funnel seemed a bit sensitive to robot placement, so when they got defended, they struggled more than some other teams might. With this game moving more towards triple offense, that might prove to be less of a problem this time around though. They also didn't seem to possess any algae capabilities, but if they can cover that problem during alliance selection, I expect 5419 to really do some damage during playoffs. Maybe they can cause some shocking upsets along the way. Finally is our dark horse for this event, who may definitely sneak up on our locks and contenders with unexpected on-field performance. Our dark horse for East Bay is Team 766 MA Bears. Much like 5419, this Atherton-based team is a strong coral station cycler who can definitely sneak up on teams with a flurry of L3 and L4 coral. Also, like Berkelium, they currently don't have the ability to put algae into the net, but their coral game is strong enough that with the right partner, they'll really impress. With some time to work on their autos since their last outing at the San Diego Regional, I expect this team to sneak their way into a high rank and maybe cause some exciting upsets come playoffs. And there, folks, is your featured forecast for the East Bay Regional. Alongside Aerospace Valley and Central Valley, this event will be the end of an era here in California, as we say goodbye to regionals and hello to districts. Best of luck to all the teams competing this weekend, and I can't wait to watch what drama unfolds.
Thanks, everyone. Well, that concludes this episode of FRC Forecast. On behalf of myself and the Forecast team, we want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in this season. Be sure to catch our live championship division discussion on Saturday, April 5th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. For now, I'm Angel signing off for FRC REEFSCAPE Forecast.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay up to date on future fun videos. Earn up to a $5,000 sponsorship for your team or a $2,000 individual prize when you provide a video submission to the Altair Global Student Contest at altair.com/contest. You can build better robots faster with Altair tools and provide multiple video submissions for the contest. Download Altair tools for free. Scan the QR code or go to altair.com/contest for further details. Build your alliance with so many other FIRST alumni who go to Kettering University. Every student at Kettering experiences their cutting-edge co-op programs that seamlessly blend the professional and academic worlds. Kettering co-ops are a fully immersive working experience at the leading edge of industry. Head on over to kettering.edu/first to learn more about their incredible programs and to get more information.